Hello and welcome to the Place to Place podcast. I'm Claire Dewhurst, the Director of City Nation Place, the forum for place brands and place marketing. The idea behind this podcast series is to create a chain of conversations between place branding leaders to give you the chance to listen in to honest conversations about their challenges and the solutions they're finding and the opportunities they're exploring to ensure that their place brand and their place marketing strategies deliver economic benefits. We're really thrilled that you've chosen to tune in and hope you enjoy the discussions.
And so to continue the chain of conversations for this fourth episode, I'm delighted to welcome back Asbjorn Overgaard Christiansen, the CEO of Copenhagen Capacity. Asbjorn, I understand you're keen to find out more about the country brand strategy for Chile, and particularly its startup culture and its sustainable ambitions. And so it's my delight to introduce Costanza Cea, who is the CEO for Imagen de Chile and is responsible for that country brand. Welcome to you both. And I'm happy to hand over to you, Asbjorn, to lead us off on this new conversation.
Thank you very much. And very nice to meet you again, Costanza.
So nice to meet you again, Bjorn. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of us.
Yes, and thank you for your willingness to join here today. I'm really inspired by your work in Chile. And I understand you're the country brand agency of Chile. So I was wondering, when you do your work of branding Chile, as well as you actually do it, how do you balance your focus on the different cities, the capital versus the rest of the country? That's some of the things that we've been looking at here in Denmark, for example.
That's an interesting question. Imagen de Chile, which is the name of our institution, we're a Chile brand organization. And we focus on the country as a whole, but we do have some programs that focus on targeting the cities. For instance, we have a licensee program to use our country brand. And that program moves throughout the whole country. And we have approximately 900 brands and institutions that proudly use our brand image, and they're distributed. Half of them are in Santiago, and the other half are located throughout the country. We've had some requests from some specific locations. For example, we are very big in wine, in the wining industry.
We are very well aware of that here in Denmark, I can say.
And
fantastic wines, yes, we enjoy them very much.
I'm glad. And so the wining region sometimes has reached us and say, we want to do some branding on the region and have it known for our advantages and what we've done in winery. So we've helped a little and given some advice, but as a country brand, we represent the whole country. As I mentioned, the brand moves throughout the country.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting. I think you're doing a fantastic job because you may say that Chile is not so well known.
I shouldn't have said that, maybe.
No, I think you're actually doing a fantastic job. So I think it's unfortunately I haven't had the chance to visit your beautiful country, but I think you're doing a good job.
You need to make it here.
Yeah, I need to. I definitely want to, and I'm planning it. So we just need coronavirus pandemic to actually settle down a little bit. And speaking of the corona, during that time, you've been forced, like anyone else, to work remote and from home and mainly digitally, of course. But I understand that you've been doing digital campaigns for quite some time. So when did you make your first digital strategy, and do you have any next milestones coming up on the digital area?
As I mentioned, we tackle the country as a whole. What we're most known of is for our nature and for our geography, and we're aiming to be known for our talent and the diversity. So that's something that we've been working on our new strategy. When it comes to what we've done digitally, I would say like some 5 years ago, there was this shift into digital world. We've built that strength, and luckily when the pandemic came, we already had a community of around 3 million followers or fans. I'd say that in 2020, we reached to have 75% of our audience be from abroad and 25% be local. That was a target we had. Being able to reach an international audience is key for us. We did a lot of research in order to be able to tackle topics that were of interest for that audience. And we run some campaigns, and we analyze the audience most quantitatively, but our focus on reaching them in digital terms came from, I would say, 5-6 years ago. The pandemic was hard in a way, but it was also an opportunity because it left us only one click away, right? So we also strengthened our web page, making it like the heart of our ecosystem, of our digital ecosystem. It was also a big opportunity for us to help other stakeholders, people from, because we are the umbrella, right? The general brand, but we work very closely with the promotion of exports, the promotion of investment, of tourism, and that talent attraction. And none of them had built this strength in the digital field before the pandemic. So it was also an opportunity for us to reach and help and contribute.
Okay. So actually, you're also more like a facilitator for the rest of the organizations in Chile, also on the digital agenda. We've been looking enviously at Chile for your startup campaign for many years. That's actually one of the areas that we've really been inspired by you here in Copenhagen. And I understand that this campaign has been running one of the other agencies in Chile. But I also understand that this campaign has inspired you to do a new campaign. Can you maybe share with us a little bit about this new initiative from your side?
Yes, of course. Well, Startup Chile is actually a governmental program that started on 2010. It's the first public accelerator. It was created in 2010 by the first term of President Piñera, and it was a program to build up an entrepreneurial and innovation ecosystem. And it was the first of its kind. It was leader. They started talking about Chilecon Valley instead of Silicon Valley. And it was a way, it was a model that gave capital to people no matter where they came from. So it attracted talent from abroad. It was a model that was exported. I think that around 50 countries in the world followed that same model. 10 years afterwards, we can say that this environment of entrepreneurship, of social entrepreneurship, because there's a strong social basis, has been created successfully. There's a way of thinking in Chileans of that is related to startup. We're one of the countries with the greatest number of startups in Latin America, and it's a pretty big figure also in terms looking at the entire world. And so it was like a detonator of innovation and of startup. And this 10 years, there's been like over 2,000 startups that have been supported. When it started, like 75% were from abroad and 25% were local. Now it's more half and half. But we started a new strategy the last year that was to show the country not only based on its beauties and landscapes, but by what people did with them. In this process, we realized that our innovation capacity, our creativity, our creating capacity is something that is very particular of Chile, is something that distinguishes us perhaps in the region, and where we have a broad story to tell in which everyone in the country can feel a part of. And so we went and identified people and cases of startups that were built within this vision of a startup, but of a social startup that could answer to different needs from abroad. And we highlighted these cases and we run them in a campaign that's called Chile Creating Future. We highlighted cases of startups that built furniture from wood without cutting trees, but it was rescued from the bottom of our lakes or oceans. Or being able to promote, for instance, physical activity, which is something that benefits people, but making that benefit go to where there's hunger, for instance. And you could choose every time you want to run, so you could donate those calories you burnt into food for people who were starving. And we picked up 12 of those cases, and we showed how we're, as a country, creating future through innovation, through being able to And so it's a pillar from what we communicate. It's one of the values we communicate as a country brand. What was born as Startup Chile is now part of the identity of the country, and it's part of what we're showing to the world.
Hi everyone, I'm just jumping in to let you know that if you're enjoying this conversation and would like to have more of them, our City Nation Place events offer you the opportunity to connect with place brand leaders from around the world. And if you're working for a place government, a DMO, an investment promotion or economic development team, you can also join our membership hub, CNP Connections, where you can join in with virtual roundtables and access exclusive content. You can find out more at citynationplace.com. Right now, let's get back to the podcast.
It's really, really inspiring. I love these fantastic stories about some of these startup companies, and interesting to donate the calories that you burn. I think that is a wonderful idea. But it's really, really inspiring also to hear how it actually it has grown into the nerve of the country. And I can also hear you talking very much on social startups, on sustainability. That's interesting. In our organization in Copenhagen capacity, we recently launched a new strategy. We also have a strong focus on sustainability. And one of the main arguments in our campaigns is the quality of life that we're offering in Copenhagen, as well as the innovative Danish business culture. I can hear that we have some similarities there on sustainability, on the quality of life in Chile, in very highly degree also of innovation in your companies and maybe in the whole population. I can hear that is many of the values that are actually underpinning the Chile brand. So I think it's interesting how we share these values. Maybe you can unfold them even further and describe how you work with those.
Of course, Asbjorn, I see that Copenhagen capacity and ourselves have much in common. That's great to hear, because we have a lot to learn from you. We have a series of attributes on which we focus to communicate the country brand. And we picked within our pillars, we have sustainability, quality of life, and innovation for a better citizenship. So as a young country, we're connected to the world. We believe we're building its future here with our own hands. We're contributing to building a better world. Our purpose is to contribute with our creativity and resilience to build a better world, but not just for everyone, but not in any way, but responsibly. We believe that we need to take care of the next generations. It's very important for us. And we need that our job through the country brand helps to have a better quality of life, not only in Chile, but we have something to give out to the world. And it's that social concern, that social conscience, that social focus. So and through our creations, we are targeting needs that we're a country that's very connected to the world. We're one of the countries with the most free trade agreements, with the most amount of cellular phones per capita or social network connections. And so we're very connected with what the world is looking for. And we believe through our creativity and innovation, we're able to tackle some of those needs and help create the changes. For instance, some days ago, we were inaugurating a great thermal plant in Chile. We've been able to move and to change through a change in the vision, to change from carbon plants to now most of them are clean, renewable energy plants. And that's a shift that's been done recently. And that's why we have been able to compromise to be carbon neutral by 2015. And that 70% of the energy matrix will come from renewable energies by 2030. That's less than 10 years from now. And we believe we can believe this as Chileans because it's like a country purpose. It's something, right, when you talk about plants, energy plants, that's something that's big and it's not the people. But as people, we've committed to small actions, maybe as it can be like no plastic bags, for instance. It's something that happens in the big circle, but also in the personal circle. It's been 2 years of presidency of COP in Chile. And I think that's helped also broadening the culture of sustainability. And when we talk about country brand, I mentioned our program to build the brand through local brands. we're focusing on brands that have a social purpose, brands that have within their core to take care of the environment, to provide a better quality of life, and to help us build a better community. And those are the organizations, brands, foundations we're reaching. And those are the ones who are aiming to use our local country brand. We're building a brand with brands that are aligned with our purpose and with our values. And so that's what we're focusing. And it's been surprising because at a moment we thought it could narrow the possibilities, but it's something that is a concern that's very widely valued within Chile.
Interesting. I think we have a lot in common there as well on the whole sustainability agenda. It's impressive how you have managed to transform your energy system. I think something that has taken decades in Europe and it's still ongoing. You are doing very rapidly, Chile. I think that's quite interesting.
I think we have an advantage in the solar plants because we have like the driest desert. We have the Patagonia, we're the gateway to the Antarctica, and we have all these winds in the south, all the ocean. I think that also we're powered by nature.
Yes, exactly. And helped by geography, yeah. There's a reason why Denmark got very much involved in developing the wind energy, the wind turbines, because it's just a very flat and very windy country. So that's what we have.
We admire your country so much. It's in terms of education, in terms of energy, in many terms. So it's great to share some values.
When we looked into Chile right now, you're also undergoing very interesting process politically. And I know that country brand marketing is not a political thing, but I know you're undergoing this very important constitutional process. How is that, or is it at all affecting your brand marketing for Chile? Or does it require you to actually address this in your communication? Or is it something that you are touching upon?
Well, it's been a big issue for us, and it's something that's called the attention from the world. It's a process that's been decided by the people, and we are focused in showing how our people are a big contributions. When we say we're building future as a young country, I think we're also building our own future. So what's happening is the way of making real what we say about the country. It's a process that started some 18 months ago or so. Although we don't focus on the political at all, some certain processes that are capturing attention, we provide information and we evaluate how the world sees what's undergoing in our country to see if it's affecting our reputation and how it is affecting it. We did some research during the last 12 months in different cities of the world to see how what was going on was viewed. On one side, we've been researching how the world sees it, and it's been something that has a very positive evaluation. People see that sometimes when you are too much in the middle of something, the way you view it is different from people who have a greater perspective. And so that perspective has been a good way to complement our view. People outside I think they value the changing processes in a different way than we see it, especially if it's something that happens within the institutional margins, as I said, with a clear plan and it's followed in that way. In our research, we've seen that most of the countries view as what's going on with the new constitution we're building. It's a process in which our people chose who are going to be building this new constitution. It's the first parity constitution. Is going to be built with half women, half men. It's the first time that happens. And it's a process that has some certain warranties. So our role in that has been, in one hand, research how it affects our reputation, and the other side, to provide all the information so the world has all it needs to be able to cover this story in a broad way with all the necessary information so as to communicate in the best way.
Yeah, interesting. Also, how you can actually link that to some of the values of the country. I think that's quite interesting. And it is, of course, something that comes up all the time when you actually look up Chile at the moment, because it is in the news. So I think that is That's also important that you also address it. Then, so thank you very much for also just sharing a little bit about how you actually work with that also. I think it's been fantastic, really, really interesting to talk with you today, Costanza. I learned a lot more about Chile, and I'm really, really looking forward to come visit you. And I think that just looking at your campaigns, wow, it's a beautiful and fantastic country. And I can also see now that we share a lot of values. We share a lot of the same interesting agendas. Yeah, I think there's a good reason for us to even further collaborate also. So that's nice.
Thank you so much, Asbjorn. And I hope we get together perhaps at City Nation Place sometime.
That could be wonderful, yeah.
Thank you so much, Asbjorn, and thank you so much, Costanza. Once again, it's just fascinating to see the similarities between places that you would not normally think would have so many common challenges or ambitions. I'm sure many of our listeners will have heard ideas and learned about actions which have resonated for their own strategies. So I'm looking forward to hearing where you'd like to take the conversation next, Costanza. But for now, thank you both for your time, and thanks everyone for listening.